Yeah.
All right, good morning, everyone. It is Sunday, August 7th. This is the MMAOB Daily Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Adam Martin, joined by my co-host here, Mr. Big Marcel. Marcel, how's it going, man? Good
It's
card
good.
last night, obviously. A lot of finishes. 10 out of 10 finishes. We don't see that too often. So, how's it going, man?
It's going well, man. I mean, unexpected action-packed card, to be honest. I pretty much expected a lot from the co-main and the main event, but not from a lot of other fights. Maybe some, but yeah, it was a good fight, and a good event. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, 10 out of 10 finishes. Can you ask for anything more? Yeah, maybe the pacing a little bit quicker, but that's it.
What are they going to do, though? I mean, like, they have half an hour for each fight, right? Like, if the fight ends early, what are they going to do? Like, it's not
Yeah,
like they
but
can add extra fights at the last second.
I understand it with the main card being on ESPN. You know what I mean? But the prelims, you have 4 fights, you have
Yeah.
2.5 hour time frame. That's too much, dude.
Yeah, but it didn't start until half an hour after, though. It
Yeah,
didn't
then
start
they
later.
shouldn't say they shouldn't say that it starts with 2.5. They should say just 2 hour frame. There's always this bullshit with
I
30
agree.
minutes of preview show. Listen, dude, if I want to see
I
a
agree.
preview show, I watch it the day before or the day before that. I
Yeah.
don't need another half hour of bullshit before I start my fights.
I get it, man. I agree. Like I was sitting there like wondering where it is, but at the same time, we knew that because two fights got canceled, it probably was going to start like half an hour later anyway. So
Still, it swells off advertising.
that's fair. Anyways, so we got a lot to talk about. Obviously, we'll recap this card. Let's get some comments here. Steve, what's up, guys? Baddest card, 10 on 10 stops, never bad. I agree. I mean, the amount of people though I had messaging me like saying, "Oh man, like yeah, there's a lot of quick finishes, but like they're almost too quick." I'm like, guys, you can't. You ask for too many. You have to say there's too many decisions, then you get too many finishes. Like you can't have both. You only have one or the other. Brian, what's up? You guys are the best. Great picks. Adam, you mentioned a Discord last week. Do you have one? Can you throw up an invite? Thanks, Kelly. Appreciate it, Brian. Thanks, man. It's not my Discord. James Lynch, our good friend, has a Discord. You'd have to mention him. I think it's part of his Patreon, but it's cool. Like we have a lot of good people in that chat. Marcel's in the chat. I'm in there. Our buddy Cole. A lot of fans. I mean, it's a good chat. I believe that's the Discord I did mention. What's up, Beer? How's it going, man? George, what's up, man? One of the better fight night cards, but he expected to be one of the worst. I agree. Hill and Ankalaev title in there. I think there's a good chance, or Jan Blachowicz who we called out, right? Mark, what's up, man? He went to one of the card. He actually went to the card last night, so that's awesome. He said it was one of the favorites he attended. Card was on second and paper. The fight was amazing. It was really good. Kevin, what's up, man? Haven't seen you in a while. How's it going, buddy? All right, so let's get into it, Marcel. Let's might as well start with the card. Yeah, I mean, obviously it was a good card. There's no doubt about it. Like anytime you get 10 finishes, guys, like how could you complain? The only thing I'll say as far as my complaints, how do they not give everyone a bonus? I'm really disappointed by that. I gotta be honest with you, Marcel. Like there was a lot of fighters that got screwed. Like I feel like Juliana Miller, someone that really could have used that 50,000. She's so new in her career, she
Bro,
could really use that extra money. What are you gonna say?
the first ever front flute choke submission in
How
women's
could you not give her a
history in
bonus?
UFC. Yeah, I
That's
mean,
sickening.
it's just stupid, And also the
Yeah.
fight they choose from fight of the night.
Why
That
did
wasn't the
Thiago
fight.
Santos get a bonus? Tell me why.
Yeah,
Why did
that
he
wasn't
deserve a
even the fight
bonus
of the
last
night.
fight?
That wasn't the fight
Makes
of the
no
night
sense.
at all. So
Yeah.
just listen. This was a perfect event. If you only want to give, they gave 5 bonuses. If you want to give 5 bonuses, give it to 5 finishes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you
Yeah.
give a fight of the night, give it to Luque against Neal.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Easily.
Yeah,
Easily. I'm completely with you. I mean, listen, Santos and Hill wasn't. We'll talk about it in a second. It wasn't a bad fight, but like it was Santos doing a lot of clinching and wrestling just to even stay in the fight. And when it was on the feet, he was getting smoked for the most part. I felt
yeah.
like it was. I wouldn't say it was one side because obviously Santos actually was doing well, but I wouldn't say he deserved a bonus whatsoever. And I don't agree with that at all personally. Let's just get into the fight. So yeah, Jamahal Hill finishes Thiago Santos in the fourth round. It was a solid fight, Marcel. I just don't think it was fighting that worthy.
No, absolutely not. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it was obviously more competitive, I think, than we thought. Because to be
Hmm.
honest with you, Marcel, Santos was winning the fight
Yeah.
after 3 rounds. He was up 2-1. Um, he did better than I thought. Obviously, his ground game looked good. Hill, you know, did okay to like get back to his feet and stuff, but he did get taken down quite a bit. And then obviously in the fourth round, though, Hill comes out like just a man possessed and gets the finish here. It was just a brutal finish. Uh, I mean, I don't have much negative to say about Hill in this fight. I think a lot of us just kind of didn't give Thiago enough credit, quite frankly, because Marcel, even though he's on the decline, he's lost last 6 fights now. Like obviously not championship level anymore. He still goes like into the championship rounds. Like he's extremely tough fighter to take out. So I think just the fact that Hill was able to finish it eventually is very impressive to me. I thought it was a decent performance for him, not the best, but he eventually got the finish. So it'll move him up the ranks. And again, he called up Blachowicz. I think Ankalaev makes sense. Rakic, whenever he gets back. Any of those guys make sense. And he wins that fight, he gets a title shot. So I think he's probably one win away right now. This is a big win for his career. Obviously getting the finisher. So, yeah, man, give me your thoughts on it.
Yeah, man. I mean, at a certain moment, you had the feeling that Hill was going to get the finish. Thiago was so gassed and tired. It's just difficult to get out there, And I think it was kind of a late stoppage, not going to lie. I think could have been stopped maybe 10 seconds earlier, in my opinion, Santos was just this, nothing else. Yeah, I mean, looking forward what's next for Hill, I'm not really into the Ankalaev fight. I think Ankalaev deserves higher, I mean, Ankalaev beat Santos last time, then had to beat Smith, and now Hill beat Santos, and then he should get Ankalaev. It's kind of weird to me, so I'm not really into that. But Hill definitely deserves to step up in competition again. He will probably be number six on Monday night. Yeah, what can you give him, man? There are a lot of options. Jiri is fighting Glover probably for the second time, right? You got Ankalaev, Blachowicz. I think Ankalaev, Blachowicz should be next, man, to be really honest. And then Hill, whoever is left there, should fight him. That's pretty much it. Yeah, Juani says Hill against Rakic. Thing is, Rakic is still out with that injury, If not, that would have been a perfect matchup, I think. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think any of those fights make sense, honestly. Got a lot of comments here. Try to get some of these. Hill, Rakic, ankle versus Jan. Emily's Ankalaev, not Smith's ankle. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, they could, but again, Rakic is out, guys, so he's not going to fight anytime soon. Oh yeah, Dominic Reyes is another guy. He's ranked right there too, and we don't know where he is. Ankalaev should next after Yuri Glover runner back. Hill versus Jan will be fun. That's probably what's going to happen. We'll see. Patty McKinney, what's up, Daniel? I mean, we'll see if they do that. We'll talk about him. Actually, he's another guy that could have easily got a bonus. Standing rear naked choke. I mean, you don't see it that often, Marcel. Like, actually, we did see it in the last card. Never mind. Pantoja had it, or there's a neck crank, but you know what I mean. Like, you don't see a standing rear naked choke that often. Anyways, next fight here. Geoff Neal finishes Vicente Luque, first fighter to ever finish Vicente Luque. Marcel, I had a feeling this could happen. Like, again, I told you, like, Luque's been taking so much damage, and he just didn't look good in his last fight. I couldn't pull the trigger because Geoff Neal's swing consistent lately, but man, this was by far his best performance, I think, ever in the UFC. Like, he looked amazing. His most complete performance by far. He won every round, in my opinion. I know some people thought maybe Luque won the second round. I don't think so. I thought Neal won the first two. First round, in my opinion, was a 10-8 round, in my opinion, as well. He just destroyed Vicente Luque in that third one with those uppercuts. Just an incredible performance. I think it was the best fight in the card, too, overall. But I just think they should have given a performance bonus to Neal and then given someone else like Miller a bonus or McKenna. That's my opinion, Marcel. But yeah, I mean, he looked great. Give me your thoughts, man, because this was, I think, his best performance in the UFC.
Yeah, it was an amazing performance. I think the first round was, I think he knocked him down twice. He staggered him many times. Beautiful combinations, beautiful punches. 10-8 round for me as well. Second round, I gave to Luque, man, 10-9. It was very close, but gave it to Luque. I think he did well in the second round. I was like, Neal is kind of slowing down, But sometimes you have with these fighters, if they have a big first round, they kind of slowing down in the second, and going to go full blast in the third again. But I still felt like in the beginning, it was like kind of 50-50 in the third round, but then Neal turned up the volume, dude, and those uppercuts were nasty. And he knocked out Luque, man. That's huge. He's gonna go to the top 6. And he's right. He has a win over Bilal Muhammad, and it was a pretty dominant win back then, And I love the call out against Gilbert Burns. I mean, he just beat his brother, Vicente Luque. Those two are like best friends. And Gilbert already said, man, finally somebody called me out. I love to fight him. So, I mean, that's perfect. Perfect shot call by Geoff Neal. Perfect fight. His best performance by far, indeed, Adam.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you. Taking out a guy, Vicente Luque, the way he did is huge. It's huge.
It's massive for his career, Marcel. Like, it really is. Because, again, Luque has never been finished, guys. Like, it's so hard to put away. Yeah. He's been submitted. He's never been knocked out, I should say. I was going to check the stats right now. So, yeah, 2 knockdowns. Marcel in the first and third round. And Luque, he's only been knocked down by 2 other fighters, Stephen Thompson and Brian Barberina, in his like 25 career in the UFC. That just shows you how hard it is to stop this guy and even drop him. But Marcel, I will say this: I think he's on a decline, Marcel, because I just think the amount of damage he's taken, like some of those wars, man. Remember the fight with like Nico Price a couple years ago? There was a war. even the Woodley fight, I know he finished that fight, but he got rocked in that fight too. Remember that fight, Marcel?
Oh yeah,
and then
definitely.
obviously the last fight with Bilal, that was kind of like the first signs that maybe Vicente Luque is on the decline. That last fight, Marcel, and I just wasn't 100% convinced. I need to see it again, and now I'm convinced that he's on the decline.
It's just the way he fights, It's with all these fighters who are like action-packed, attractive to watch fighters. I mean, we had it with Robbie Lawler before. I always pick Robbie Lawler as an example. He was at a certain moment he was the champion. And he was in wars. And at a certain moment, that was over. Woodley knocked him out. And since that, he still had some decent performances. But his chin, you saw in this last fight against Barberina, guy's getting older. And it's getting harder. And if you are many wars and many years, it just takes its toll. And it's not weird. It happens.
Geoff Neals 7-2 on the UFC, 7 knockdowns in his career in the UFC as well. So very powerful guy. He's just a good fighter, man. I'm a big fan of both guys, and I'm excited to see what they do with Geoff Neal next, like what they match him up with.
Me too.
What?
Me too.
Do you have a suggestion though?
No. I'd said I'm also.
I'm just wondering, like, who do you think they should match him up with? Like, I'm trying to look at the rankings.
So difficult, dude. I like the Burns fight, to be honest, man. I think it's good.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's what he called out. I was thinking, like, he called someone out. It was Gore Burns. Yeah. So he's like Vicente Luque's best friend, and it's like they're like basically family. Makes so much sense. I'm not sure if he was in the corner last night. He might have been. I don't know if I saw him, but that's the fight that makes sense. I was thinking like if he called someone out, that's the fight to make. I think that's the fight to make too. So see some comments. So weird seeing durability fall off the cliff. I mean, he just takes. You see the way he blocks strikes, guys. He doesn't move his head. Even the commentators are like, "Hey, he's not moving his head. Like he's like Donald Cerrone almost in a way, Marcel. Like doesn't move his head, just absorbs damage, and eventually just catches up, guys. He just catches up. Yeah, George, no adjustments at all, unfortunately. Luque won the second, maybe. It was close. All 3 judges actually just checked the scorecards. They all gave it to Neal. One judge only gave him 10-8 in the first round. I thought it was 10-8 for sure, Marcel, personally.
It was 10-8. What's 10-8 if you don't give 10-8 for that?
Completely agree. The guy was rocked, staggered, dropped, like everything. It's definitely a 10-8 round. Late stoppage, in my opinion. Yeah, it was kind of late, but the thing is they gave Vicente more of a chance because, again, he's never been knocked out. So they really gave him a chance. To know he's a great chin. But Marcel, eventually, you can't just get uppercutted like 10 times in the face. No one can. You'll get knocked out. So that's what happened. Saif Saud is a great coach. And that was definitely one of his aces up his sleeve for this fight. Rakhmonov would be interesting too. That would be a good fight. I mean, I would watch that fight. Actually, they could even do Rakhmonov and Luque if they wanted. Be fun with that.
Yeah, Luque said he had no problem in fighting him, although they trained together.
Yeah, only pay-per-view main event. Exactly, they're both at Sanford. Or Killcliff. Only pay-per-view main event. I know it's so weird, eh?
Yeah, it's super weird. Always when I'm typing for the website, it's like the Sanford. Okay, backspace, Killcliff. I've seen.
I know. And just to answer the last question, yeah, I think if anything, it's going to be Jones and Nagano or Stipe. But we've been saying this for a couple of years with Jones. I don't even care about the guy anymore. It's like he doesn't fight. Okay, go to the next fight here, Marcel. This was the big shocker for me of the night, man. This was the big surprise because, and you watched the show too. Yeah. Mohammed Usman looked really bad in the show. Like his fights were not impressive. Zak Pauga looked really good. And the first round, Marcel, was exactly how I thought the fight would go. I'm like, okay, just keeping distance and like I was striking. By the way, Sal Diamato scored the first round for Mohammed Usman. What the fuck is that? Are you kidding me? What a joke. That's a joke. That's got to be a joke. And he's the guy teaching new judges, guys. How scary is that? How scary is that?
What a blooming idiot.
Clear first round for Pauga, Marcel. Like, I don't even think there's a question. And then just gets absolutely, like, launched into orbit with this left hook. Like, that was one of those brutal knockouts we've seen in a long time. I'm very surprised this fight played out the way it did, Marcel. Like,
me too.
Just unbelievable. What a knockout. You know, I will say this. I was watching the fight, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, he's doing what he's doing. But in the back of my mind, I kept thinking, Marcel, the amount of damage he's taking in football, because we've seen guys like Matt Mitchell, and his chin wasn't that great. A lot of guys, they come from a football background, Marcel. The amount of shots they took during their previous career does add up. And remember, Zach is mid-30s, Marcel. He's not in his mid-20s. Unfortunately, Marcel, I do feel like the amount of damage he's probably taken in his previous career kind of added up because, man, it didn't look like a big shot, and he just got taken. He got taken out like clean, Marcel, and that ground and pound was just devastating. So, I mean, yeah, maybe a lot of people would have been knocked out with that punch, but he's never really been hit before. And now he goes down to the first big punch that hits him. It just makes you wonder, like, how durable this guy is going forward. Like, obviously he's a good striker and everything, and he showed that in this fight. But I don't know, Marcel. I'm not convinced anymore. Like, and I'm still not convinced of Usman. Like, I don't know how long of a career he's gonna have, but for this one night only, at least he got that crazy knockout. And he has some power, obviously, but yeah, Marcel, I'm still kind of surprised this happened. I just gotta be honest with you. I'm just trying to like wrap my head around what happened. Like, again, is it just due to his previous career? Did he take too much damage and now it's not going to work well in MMA, or you just get caught with a big punch? I don't know. What do you think, man?
Maybe a combination of the two. You know, I don't know. I was surprised as well. I think many people were surprised, you know, that Pauga lost. And that's maybe not because we think Pauga is that good, or Pauga, I should say, but because Usman is not really that good, you know what I mean? And but yeah, what can you say, man? It was a beautiful knockout. And it's like 7 years after his older brother Kamaru wins the Ultimate Fighter, he does it also. So, I mean, first time two brothers have won the Ultimate Fighter. It's I got to give him credit, dude. I wasn't impressed by him at all in the Ultimate Fighter house. I wasn't impressed by him before his UFC tenure in the Ultimate Fighter house or whatever. This was impressive. The knockout was impressive, at least, because the first round wasn't. You know, that was the Usman I expected. Yeah, what can you say, man? It's a good win. We'll see what's next for him. I think he will have a tough time, dude, in the heavyweight division, the UFC. Definitely, because he's also not like a heavyweight. You know what I mean? He's like in between. Yeah. We would always almost say cruiserweight. You know what I mean? So, and that's also for Pauga, who's actually not a real heavyweight. So, yeah, we'll see, man. What's going to happen?
I think he was 236 and Pauga was 239, I believe.
Yeah.
They could both drop down, probably. Like, they probably both could. Not being a natural heavyweight, finally caught to Pauga. That was my biggest, hey, George, that was my biggest concern, too, going into the house. I remember a lot of people were saying this was the favorite, right? But I was wondering, man, he's only fought, like, Marcus Perez and Cage Warriors, and that guy's a former middleweight. Like, that was the one worry I had. I still thought he would win, though, man. I got to be honest, this was still surprising. But I guess now looking back, like, I did have some reservations originally, and just his performances in the house changed my mind. I thought he looked great, so Usman versus Hamdi. They could do that. They could even do him versus Dontel Mays, man. They could even do that fight. He should win that fight. How the world's we'll talk about Sam in a few minutes. All right, that's it for that one. Julianne Miller, Marcel, we both called. We had a good read in this fight, defeating Brogan Walker. So didn't have a good read in the other tough fight, Marcel, obviously, but this fight I think we both had a great read on.
I honestly think that we are one of the few who had at least one Ultimate Fighter fight right.
Yeah, a lot of people got them both wrong. I know, like they weren't, to be honest, like they weren't the easiest fights to call because, you know, one was a pick'em fight and the other one was like a heavyweight fight. So you never know. True. But we both like Miller here. She gets the job done. She looked great. Marcel, again, you know, not much experience, just a 4-1 record. Really, it's 3-1. They added that fight. But still, I mean, I told you, Marcel, this girl's special. She's like only 26. She's good everywhere. And she's improved everywhere. Like her ground game was completely dominant in this fight. But not only the ground game, Marcel, it was also the striking looked good too. I thought her striking looked good. She outstruck Walker, I think, in this fight. 10 minutes of control. Not only that, Marcel, she could just easily just got the decision. She went for that finish, getting the mount, getting a brutal grounding pound. Disappointed he didn't give her the bonus, though, because I feel like a young fighter like this could have really used that money and put it towards her training. So it's what it is, Marcel, but she looked great. Any thoughts, man?
She better did go for that finish, man, because otherwise we had to break into the finishing streak, you know? So I was like, damn it, they're gonna tear up the finish streak, you know, here. And then she got the finish, so that was good. Yeah, man, I felt like Brogan Walker made every wrong decision she could make in that fight, you know. When you get out of the clinch there, try to get out of the clinch. She got into the clinch again, I was like, what are you doing? You know, you're not going to win this fight on the ground with her. You cannot keep it standing. And even standing, she got hit with a few good punches, you know. So, yeah, a good win for Miller, who was, in comparison to Brogan Walker, way less experience in MMA. You know, she has more experience in grappling. Yeah, good win. What can you say? Very young still, 3-1 now. UFC has that extra run in the Ultimate Fighter semifinal, but nobody else counts that shit. So yeah, good win for her. What can we say? We both were on Miller. I'm kind of happy we both picked her, man. We look good in picking Miller here. So
she looked good, and she looked great. I mean, the fight honestly wasn't close. Like you said, Brogan Walker's fight IQ was so bad in this fight. Like I'm surprised how bad it was. Like she rocked her a few times on the femur, and then went to the clincher. Why? Like why? I don't get it. Do you think this girl could cut to 115? You think it's possible? She has fought there before as an amateur. You think it's
Miller?
possible or no? Yeah, Miller. Yeah.
I don't know, man. She already seems so like, how do you say that? She's very tall, right? Yeah, lean, very lean. That's a good word. She's very lean already. So I would be surprised if she can, man.
She did 3 years ago, like when she fought on the Liddell Ortiz card. It was actually 4 years ago, but maybe she's just grown out of that. Maybe she can't do it anymore. Anyways, even at 125, I think she'll do well. But man, she's special, dude. I told you, man. Like first knockout of her career, first knockout loss of Walker's career. Just very impressive, guys. So
yeah.
Rex Lee, 2 Sexiest Men on YouTube. Happy Sunday, Adam Marcel. I appreciate that, man. I think you're right too. Thank you, Adam. Thank you guys for the picks last week. I mean, we did well in that one. Like overall, I think we had a decent night, but that Pauga pick was the one that really screwed me up, Marcel. Otherwise, I did well. Like the other fights that I got wrong were Luque and Silva, but I wasn't convinced that the other fighter would win either.
We had the same wrongs, I think, man. We had Pauga wrong, we had Agar wrong, and we had Luque wrong. Because
I thought we had one different.
Yeah, Quinlan again.
That's right. That got canceled. Yeah. I'm still convinced Josh Quinlan is using something, Marcel, and we'll talk about him in a few minutes because I told you I had some reservations that the fight didn't get to go on. So
that dude legit looks like Genghis Khan, dude.
That dude legit is not clean at all, Marcel. Caught for 2 different substances now. So Miller has the BJJ Youth person on Instagram. She's just really good, man. She's going to be a good fighter for a long time, I think. I really like her addition to the roster. Okay, a couple other fights here, obviously. Another one, I mean, I had a great read in this fight. This is exactly how I thought it would go. Spivak smashes Sakai, ground and pound. Marcel, we both liked him in this fight. We both loved him in this fight. Just really one-sided. 4th straight loss, by the way, for Sakai by stoppage. Listen, they just gave Jared Vandera another fight. He's 1-5. They gave him one more. Maybe they'll give Sakai one more, but man, 4 straight knockout losses and not competitive anymore. I think that might be it for him. But for Spivak, big win for him, obviously. Another finish. Spivak's really good, Marcel. I think we know that at this point. So he didn't get a bonus, so he called for it, and they didn't give it to him. So I know he's not too happy about it. It was one-sided. By the way, I thought the first round was 10-8 as well in this fight, and they gave it 10-9. But I thought it could have been 10-8. Anyways, your thoughts on the fight?
Yeah, man. I feel like Sakai. The thing with Sakai is, in comparison to Vandera, I think Sakai earns more. He gets more money. So I'd be like, I think the UFC probably cuts him, man, after 4 stoppage losses as well. Not a good look at all. Spivak dominated him from start to finish. Had also 10-8 in the first round. Yeah, what can you say? Good win for Spivak again. He's in the rankings back, after 2 years out of the rankings. He's back in the rankings. Look good. Solid win. Yeah, everything is open for him again at heavyweight,
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's go to the next fight here. Terrence McKinney submits Eric Gonzalez. We all knew that Terrence would win the fight. The question was he going to win by by knockout or submission? Because we knew it would be a finish. Honestly, looking back now, it's like maybe you should have taken submission because that's how Gonzalez has been finished the most, and that's how McKinney's finished most of his fights. So that was a little tip there, Marcel. But I mean, it was like even the striking, he looked good on the feet. Obviously, rocked Gonzalez. It was a real easy fight, Marcel. I mean, there's not much to take away from this fight. It was 10-1 favorite, Marcel. So, any thoughts?
Yeah, a good win and expected win. The thing is, McKinney sometimes gets reckless, and he got hit with a punch, which kind of staggered him. But good recuperation from him or whatever. Came back, took the back, choked him outstanding. Good win for McKinney, and expected win pretty much. Called up Paddy for New York after that. Yeah, go for it,
I mean, I don't mind that fight. Like again, Paddy's got 10 years of experience. He's got like over 20 fights. He's way more experienced than McKinney. Like McKinney's not ranked. If Paddy can't beat him, then like really, what are we doing? Like that's what I'm saying. Again, Paddy's making more money now. They're gonna have to start giving him better opposition. They might do that fight. They might not, Marcel. I don't think they'll do it personally.
Of course they won't.
I don't think they will, but we'll see what happens. I think McKinney's very exciting. I like him a lot. Speaking of exciting, Michael Alexi, Jack Marcel knocks out Sam Alvey. Just a completely one-sided fight. No surprise here. Sam Alvey, looking at his UFC stats, is quite sad. I'll pull it up here. It's sad, guys. I mean, honestly, like it's a shame they kept him around so long. He shouldn't have been on the roster for a while. There was an article this week that came out was from ESPN, and they were talking about it was like a documentary on Sam Alvey, basically, and they were talking about how like he's just so good to the people behind the scenes, and how he gives them all like $5 cards to Starbucks for Christmas, except for Dana White gives him $10. that stuff definitely endears yourself with the promotion. I feel like that's the only reason he was still around this long, Marcel, because this is just terrible to look at. Longest losing streak, or he had this draw, I should say. It's the longest winless streak in UFC history, 9 straight fights without a win. His last win in 2018. There is no, this was a horrible fight. I'm even surprised they even did this fight because it was just such a bad matchup for him. It's a younger guy, speedier guy, a more powerful guy. There was no way he was going to win this fight, Marcel. And again, you just see the losses, the knockouts, the submissions. I don't want to see him fight in the UFC anymore. I don't think he deserves to be in the UFC, no offense. But it is supposed to be the best fighters in the world. And Sam Alvey's not one of the best fighters in the world anymore. I think bare knuckle fighting championship is probably where he'll head off to, Marcel. I don't think he should be doing that because I'm worried about the amount of damage he's taking. He's got 6 kids too. But if they pay him a lot of money, I can't blame the guy for taking a bag. So yeah. I think that's it for the UFC, Marcel, but I think that you'll see him in like bare knuckle or something. Any thoughts, man?
Yeah, man, I feel bad for him, This was almost he wasn't going to win this fight,
No.
It's like Oleg Seychuk came from light heavyweight to middleweight, and he looked good, man. I already thought he looked good on the way in. Yep. Look sharp, look focused, and I was like, damn, dude, I have no idea how Alvey's going to win this fight. Just before that already, and yeah, he had no chance. He literally had no chance. Oleg Seychuk was over him from the beginning, and he knocked him out like I think 1.5 minutes, maybe a little bit more. What can you say? I feel bad for Alvey, but 9 fights without a win. Last win was also against John Villante, and I think it was a super close fight as well, split decision, I think. Yeah, you can't save him here, I think, anymore. And I think if Alvey, I understand Alvey wants to provide for his family. Everybody wants to. I understand that. But if you compare it to everybody else, how many chances they got and how many chances Sam Alvey got here in the UFC, he knows better probably as well, But on the other hand, listen, if the UFC says you want one more fight, I'm sure he takes it, So
they can't even. Like, who would he fight?
I know, I agree, but you never know, I fully agree with you.
Let's play devil's advocate here. If the UFC's like, we'll give you one more, which I don't think they will, because again, this was the last fight of his contract.
Mm.
If they gave him one more, who would he fight? If they gave Sam Alvey one more,
I have literally no idea, dude.
I'm checking the records. Okay, so they matched up that Alan Amadovsky guy, so you can't do him. Yeah, I think Sam could have beat him, Marcel. I think maybe that's a fight he could have won. And then otherwise, Gilbert Urbina, maybe he could beat him. And then I'm looking like maybe Trishan Gore, maybe, probably not, but maybe. That's it. I really can't see anyone else.
I'll make a fight at light heavyweight. Who's there?
Light heavyweight? Yeah, maybe that's the move. Okay, let's take a look at light heavyweight. Because at middleweight, there's like...
Who's the worst light heavyweight?
That's literally what I'm looking for. Guys with the worst record. The worst light heavyweight right now is Ihor Potieria, 0-1. He's the only guy without a win in the UFC, apparently. That's what I'm looking at. And he's not... Well, I said I didn't have kind things to say last week, but maybe Marcel... Could they do that fight? Could they?
Yeah, bro, I don't know.
God. No, that's it for Sam. I think we've talked about Sam enough. So he didn't sign a new contract. He had one fight left. They just let him fight his contract out. But I think they said like win or lose, like I don't think you're gonna get another fight. I think that's what they told him anyway. So that's it for Sam. All right, let's get to the next fight here, Marcel.
Last comment.
What is it? Oh, just give him middleweight so we won't take any get. Blow out middleweight. That's hilarious. Just get hugged for 3 rounds. Okay, let's talk about Brian Battle knocks out Takashi Sato, one of the cleanest, nastiest head kicks I've seen ever in the UFC. Unbelievable head kick. I figured Battle would win because again, I think he looked good at 170 or 185. Now he's dropped to 170. If he made the weight well, although I thought the weight cut looked bad. He didn't look good on the scale. Like I think a lot of people were saying that he looked like a ghost, Marcel.
Yeah, he did.
He looked terrible, but somehow Marcel he came in the fight and gets an insane knockout, like an absolute brutal one, and obviously gets a bonus, well deserved. It was one of the best head kicks I've ever seen. It was amazing. Give me your thoughts, man. It was clean. It was nasty. Give me your thoughts.
Sure, everybody loves a super clean head kick. That was super clean, beautiful. Within 45 seconds, I think. Super quick. And Takashi Sato, I know he hasn't impressed in his last fights, but he is not a bad fighter, and definitely not if you keep him at stand up. It was a beautiful win, I think. I like what Battle did after the fight. I think he called out Ian Gary. I mean,
Yes.
yeah, that's a smart. If they get it, I don't think I don't know if he gets it, but it's a smart call out. It's a guy with a lot of hype in Europe. The UFC wants to build that dude, but I always have the feeling like if you want to fight guys like Paddy, Ian Gary, Sean O'Malley, you have to fight. You have to win, but you have to win in an ugly way. That you see things like, these can win against this guy. So I don't think Battle gets that fight, but yeah, it would be a good one. I would like to see it. I think Gary looked really good in his last fight. I think Battle looked good in this fight. As long as the fight lasted, at least. So yeah, I'd like to see it.
Yeah, I would like to see that. I thought it was funny. You called her Brian Barberina, and it said that you spell her name differently. And Brian Barberina's like, no, we spell the name the same way, dude. I thought that was funny. Yeah, he does have a really deep voice. Like he could do narration or something for a commercial or something like that. No, he's got a good voice. He's a smart fighter too, man. Like good interviews and stuff. Right?
They should do a podcast with Chidi Njoku.
That's what I'm saying. Those two guys and Morgan Freeman or something.
Yeah.
Just the best voices to listen to. Also, I saw Holland beat Neal early in his career. Yeah, I mean that fight that Neal got finished in that fight, which is surprising. Asian. Oh, you mean for the commission? I'm not sure. I'm not too sure who that was. To be honest, maybe a new commission official, but yeah, I was like, damn. So it said that Duambe still on for Paris. Is that fight still on?
Yeah, there's a problem with that fight.
No.
It's still not off, but the thing is, in Paris, Doumbé is category 2. You have category A and category B. He's category B. Category A is like the elite fighters,
Okay.
and B is like the unproven fighters in MMA yet. That means if you fight somebody from category B, you only have to get four fights in between them. So, and I think Doumbé has 2 MMA fights, and Darian Weeks has 7, I think.
Oh, okay.
So he has one too many, just one. And then they can't match him up. I remember when they went Bellator went to Paris, and they made Simon Bijong against Melvin Manhoef, and that fight also got canceled because Manhoef has over 40 fights.
I didn't know this.
Yeah.
Rule. Okay.
Yeah. So there is a problem there, but what I've heard, it's not off yet, but it doesn't look really good at this moment. So I don't know what's going to happen, and that would mean that Doumbé can only fight Mike Blood Diamond or the Pete Rodriguez guy who debuted earlier this year.
They could do that fight. That would make sense. That's disappointing. I didn't know this at all. That's interesting. Okay, let's just finish off this card. Corey McKenna, we talked about earlier. Fawn flu choke, first in UFC history for a female fighter against Miranda Granger. First off, Granger looked horrible in this fight, Marcel, and also I thought she looked bad in the scale too. I thought she looked really bad this weight class. There's no way she gets another fight, Marcel. She can't even stop a takedown. Like she'll be cut from the UFC, I would imagine. But McKenna looked good. Gets the win here. First legitimate win because the Hansen fight was kind of controversial, I would say, and then the Reed fight was also close, but she lost. This is her first legit win, and she looked good, man. For a fighter with such a reach disadvantage, man, she did well to get inside, take the fight to the ground. Then Vaughn flu choke, you don't see that. You saw OSP with the what's it called, the Vaughn flu choke. He was giving her some props. So I thought she should have got a bonus, Marcel. That's the biggest injustice here, in my opinion.
Yeah, the thing is Granger was probably saw the fight before her fight and was like, let's do like this. But she actually tapped twice, but the referee was like, did she tap or not? And then
I saw her tap too. I was like, why didn't they stop it? Yeah.
Yeah. So, but listen, man, I shouldn't say this actually because I don't practice BJJ or whatever, but still people in 2022 get caught in the Van Vloed choke. It's weird to me, why you hold on a guillotine when somebody goes into side control. It's so weird to me that somebody doesn't know that shit, I'm not a BJJ black belt, white belt, whatever. I don't practice it, but I know that if you have a guillotine and somebody gets into your side control, you release the guillotine because you can pressure your own and you get stopped with a Van Vloed choke, so weird to me, and I think McKenna definitely should get a bonus for this one. I think we all agree on it. I think everybody agrees on it except Dana White and his friends over there. But good win for McKenna, man. Actually, her best win so far in the UFC, I think. Solid. And for Granger, Yeah, I don't see much upside for her in the UFC at this moment, dude. Didn't look good at all, like you said. On the way in, also didn't look very good. I don't know what's going to happen, man. Maybe you never know. You still have always girls there who you expected already to be gone who are still there. So, like those girls' division, sometimes it's a little bit like the heavyweight division. You get more chances than you get the lightweight, welterweight, or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think. But good win for McKenna, solid win, good bounce back after her, kind of a stupid loss in London earlier this year, where she didn't initiate the grappling against Reed.
Yep.
But good comeback.
Well, she did in the third round, and it was too late.
Yeah, way too late. Yeah, it was really weird, actually. Yeah.
Marcus, I agree. She should have got a bonus. That's stupid that she didn't. What's up, Joe? How's it going, man? Hope you're having a good weekend, buddy. All right, last fight here. Mayra Bueno Silva defeats Stephanie Egger by submission. Yeah, I mean, this was kind of a 50-50 fight, but we both leaned Egger. It's funny, though, when the odds came out last week, Egger was a dog, we picked her, and then the line switched, and Silva closes an underdog. So the line was all over the place for this fight, but Silva's the one who gets the win here. It's a big win for her, Marcel. I mean, it was a good submission over a girl that was kind of on the rise. So this girl's a savage. There's no doubt about it, Marcel, and this is the right weight class for her, because she's not cutting all that weight to force herself to 125. She just seems happier in the cage, and she's very violent and nasty. And she has a really good submission game. We've seen that multiple times now. She has 3 submission wins in the UFC, Marcel. So looking back now, probably missed on this one because should have looked at closer to that submission prop because I know it was big plus money. I mean, what can I say? It was a great submission win. Although, was it? Because we got to talk about the controversy now, right? We got to talk about it, guys. Here's the thing. So she let go of the armbar. Which, by the way, if she didn't, she would have snapped the girl's arm. There's no doubt about it, because that's about as deep as armbar as you can get, and the girl was in a bad position. I don't believe she would have let go with it unless she felt the tap. That's my honest opinion, But I will say this. I didn't see the tap myself, and the replay didn't show the tap, but one of the judges, apparently, because they pulled the judges, which I didn't know they could do this either. Never seen this happen. They pulled the judge, and one of the judges said, I saw the tap, and then Herb Dean said he saw the tap. So apparently there was this tap scene, but has there been any video of this tap, Marcel? I haven't seen it. Maybe there has been that after I went to bed, something came out at a different angle, but I didn't see the tap. But at the same time, I don't think she would have let go if she didn't feel it from that bottom hand or something. So maybe the tap happened. I'm not sure. But at the same time, Marcel, at the end of the day, you shouldn't let go of the submission until the ref stops the fight. And I feel like she got so lucky that they had someone that apparently saw the tap, because Marcel, a lot of fights would have just been stopped there. I don't know if it would have been a no contest or would have just been restarted or whatever. But
restarted. Yeah,
I'm just glad that there was a finish, because I do believe she submitted her. But again, I didn't see the tap either. So I don't know, man. What do you think? Did you see it?
No, of course not. The thing is, it would have got restarted because Tononi never called the stop to the fight. He just said stop, but he never waved it off. The thing is, the judge who saw it was Ron McCarthy. That's the son of Big John McCarthy. Yeah. He was on a very good position. And Tononi asked him, did you see the tap? And he is 100% tapped, Okay. Herb Dean said it as well. But the funny thing is, Herb Dean was doing
a cameo, right?
Yeah.
Video. I saw that.
And that was the moment that happened. You know what I mean? At the end. So it's weird that he backed that up. But the thing is, Ron McCarthy saw it. Yeah, I mean, you have 3 judges there. If there is no good camera angle of it, those judges are there to judge the fight, So I have no problem with the referee. I think Tononi did it good, to ask the judges, because the judges should be neutral every time. You have to be like that to think that they're neutral, and I think so as well. So he asked them. Ron McCarthy said he 100% saw a tap. And that's okay. He goes with that because he had probably the best view in the house at that moment. The thing that kind of thinks, listen, man, I'm not a psychologist or whatever, but if you saw how Egger reacted when that was clearly not somebody who was upset that she got done wrong. You know what I mean? I think Alan Joban said it perfectly on Twitter. If that fight she got out, she would have punched her immediately. She wasn't. She was okay. But man, kind of bad sportsmanship, dude, from Agar. To
I
be really
agree.
honest,
I agree completely, man.
look
I
what
completely agree.
look what Michelle Watterson did 2 or 3 weeks ago. She admitted it, and Agar was like, "No, I didn't." And I completely understand that Buena Silva was upset, because imagine nobody saw it and they restart the fight and she lose the fight. You know what I mean? So bad sportsmanship. I fully understand that Buena Silva didn't want to shake her hand. So
no, I could agree. I agree with that, actually. By the way, I was just thinking, like, who Sam Valley could fight. Harry Hunsucker, Marcel, send him back to 205. You can fight Harry
after Payroll fight.
Yeah, that's the fight. Let's get some comments here. This is why Stoliarenko cranks the arm until the ref stops. You have to. You can't just assume the ref saw it, especially in this case where the hand was under the body, right? Like, if Agar didn't tap, she would have eventually died. She tapped. I'll just stand there and shock, say nothing. Yeah, she just kind of pretended like she didn't know how to speak English for some reason. Marcella, it's just like, I can't speak. I don't know what you guys are saying. Like,
I gotta say, man, after this one, I got more respect for Chris Toyoni, to be really honest.
Yeah, I think he did a good job in this fight. And by the way, Marcel, I don't mind if they do this polling of the judges in the future. Like, I think it's a good thing to do. Like, I didn't know about this. Apparently, it was something that was taught last week at that seminar. The one with the Sal Diamano was teaching everyone how to judge fights at, by the way. But they did teach them this to the referees. I think it was Kevin McDonald or something was the ref. If the girl didn't tap, would she have reacted by said some sort of offense? Exactly. She wouldn't just sat there and did nothing.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it was.
The actual view of Sal Diamado. Yeah. Sal Diamarato.
That's funny. Watching Agar's body after the fight, she was stopped. How do you think she knew she tapped? Yeah, I think she probably did too. But again, I didn't see it. But I do. Again, why would she have stopped that armbar? It was so deep. Like, it's about as deep as it gets. What's up, Antoine? How's it going, man? It was a good Saturday. It was actually my daughter's birthday this week, so we had like a birthday party yesterday in the afternoon, Marcel, which was awesome. Mm-hmm. And thanks, Marcel. Uncle Marcel sent her a present, which is nice of me. So I appreciate that. So we had the birthday party. Marcel was awesome, and then I watched the fights after, so it was good. Watched the birthday party, had a nap, and then woke up, and the card started an hour later, so I was like, I had a little extra of a nap, so it was good. I was nice and rested for the fights. What's up, boys? How's it going, Gorilla? What's going on, man? Okay, that's it for the UFC Vegas 59 recap. I always ask you, Marcel, what your overall rating on the card was. So for this card, we had 10 out of 10 finishes, but the pacing was a little bad. Still, 9 out of 10, right? It's got to be, right?
Yeah, man, it was a very good card. You know what the funny thing is? Remember years ago in Strikeforce, they had like a card which was all finishes, and they asked Dana like, "What did you think about the card?" Yeah. It's like the small promotions. They have these fights where if you have every fight going to a finish on the card, it's a bad matchups and bad matchmaking. I was like, ask him now what he thinks. You know what I mean? So that was a good card. I love the card. I think it was much better than we all expected. And let's hope it's the same thing for next week, because next week isn't that stacked as well, in my opinion. So I hope for the same thing. Like, it's pretty much true. Those fight night cards you think aren't that good, deliver like 9 out of 10 times. So yeah,
I agree. Let's get this last card from Marcus. Where would you guys rank the card among all the 2022 cards? I mean, it's up there. I was gonna say top 10, but top 5 probably makes sense too. Okay, we still got a few minutes left on this podcast before we start the next one. We're going to talk about PFL and Contender Series, Marcel. Let's just go through PFL quickly, Marcel. We had PFL 7 here. We had the finals at lightweight and light heavyweight. Did you watch the card, Marcel? Did you get a chance to?
Only saw the finishes. Only the finishes.
Okay, so I did watch the main card anyway. Some of the post-wins I didn't watch. There's actually fights after the main card, which is hilarious. Which we don't see that often in PFL. You see them Bellator. Anyways, let's go through the fights here. Stevie Ray defeats Anthony Pettis. Did you pick him? I know I picked him last week. Did you pick Ray or did you pick Pettis?
We both picked Ray.
Yeah. We both picked him, and he was an underdog again. So that just didn't really make sense to me. I mean, that was a good bet if you made it, I think, because again, Pettis is on decline. Marcel, 1-5 in PFL. So
Bro, most horrible injury that I told you that Anthony Pettis got. He was like,
broke his hands.
Yeah, break both my hands. I was like, dude, if you have to take a shit, that just sucks. You know what I mean? So
I mean, there's a lot of things you can't do with our hands.
Yeah,
that's not good.
But that's the thing that you have to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, anyways, Stevie Ray's going to go to the finals, and he's going to be taking on Olivier Aubin-Mercier, who dominated Alex Martinez. Great performance by Olivier. Dropped him, controlled him, everything. Here's the thing: these guys only needed to win the fight; they didn't need to finish the fight. So I think that Olivier kind of played it safe a little bit in this fight, but I don't blame him because it's like $1 million potential in one. So I think in this case, it's totally understandable. He gets a decision, Marcel. So
were you favoring this fight?
That's what I ask you. think it's
Olivier.
a really good fight. Stevie Ray is obviously really good, but I would still favor Olivier Albert.
Me too.
Yeah, I would favor. I think he should be like 2-1 favorite here, but not more than that because Ray's got to get some respect now because he's a good fighter. He's proven it for years. He's got good wins. Anthony Pettis, Michael Johnson. He's a good fighter. The other division, a couple surprises here, or one surprise, I should say at least. Omari Akhmedov defeats Josh Silveira. I didn't really see this one coming, Marcel. I got to be honest with you. I thought Josh was going to win the fight, and Omari, just the veteran experience, just looked way better in this fight. And then the other fight, Rob Wilkinson destroys Dylan Monch in the first round. Brutal knockout. So it's Rob Wilkinson versus Omari Akhmedov. All four of these guys are former UFC fighters. Keep that in mind. None of these guys, actually, Akhmedov was top 15, but the other guys weren't, I don't believe.
Bro.
What?
I mean, fucking Rob Wilkinson, dude. I mean, what the hell has happened with him? You know what I mean?
Dude, he's looked amazing in PFL.
Yeah.
Like, he's looked phenomenal. There's no doubt about it. So he had a tough run in the UFC. He fought Izzy and CR Bahadurzadeh and got knocked out by both. But, I mean, they're not like the worst losses to have. Definitely. And since then, Marcel, he's won 5 straight fights, I think, by knockout. So but the guy's an absolute monster. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I would favor him to win this fight too, Marcel. I think he'll be the favorite. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. But the thing is, if Akhmedov going to play it safe, you never know with Omari.
And it's 5 rounds too, so that's the other thing. Like, I don't know whose card was going to last up because Akhmedov is never good, but it's looked better. I do think it's a good fight. They're both good fights in my opinion. And then for the other fights, they had like these basically fights to like see who would get into the next season, I guess you could say. Martin Hamlet defeats Corey Hendricks by split decision. So Martin Hamlet into the next season. And then Marcelo Nunez defeated Dylan Potter. So they're both in. Then you had a bunch of other fights with guys that are kind of like prospects as well. So, yeah, I mean, it was. I did watch the main card. It wasn't too bad. It was just interesting anyways. But, yeah, Rob Wilkinson looked good. Get some comments here. Pettis' comments about him. What did he say? What did he say, Marcel?
I haven't seen it.
What did he say, Loco? What's up, Tajik Bay? How's it going, man? Let's do Contender Series really quick as well, Marcel, because we didn't have a chance to talk about that. And, I mean, like, best Contender Series card of all time, I would say, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it was the best Contender Series card of all time. I mean, I don't think there's any question about it, in my opinion. Maybe these guys are going to turn out to be the best fighters, but for that one night only, man, God, it was sick fights, amazing fights. Let's go through them, Marcel. Start from the first fight of the night. Billy Goff defeats Shimon Smotritsky by knockout in the first round. He got dropped with a head kick, looked like he was going to get finished, and then Shimon kind of got tired, and Billy Goff just put it on him and laid him out and got the finish and got the contract. So your quick thoughts on this performance, because it was a crazy fight.
Yeah, dude, could come back from Billy Goff, but he's pretty much known for it, you know. So, yeah, Shimon Smotritsky started very well, but it was over for him later, you know. Goff put on the pressure, and Goff did that very well. Yep. And he got the finish, you know, and I think a deserved contract. I thought he looked good, you know. I really liked the fight, and I liked that whole card, dude. So, yeah.
It was a great card. We had Waldo Cortez Acosta. We both called this the story's Daniel Suzach, I think they pronounce it. Suzach or something. Fight wasn't close. And now Cortez Acosta's got his first fight in the UFC. He's fighting Jared Vanderaa, and he should be a big favorite to win that fight. He should probably knock Jared out. I mean, that's not a good fight for Jared, in my opinion. Francis Marshall, the fighter, defeats Connor Matthews. Marcel, I mean, he looked phenomenal in this fight. This guy's a really good prospect at 145. Connor Matthews is super tough. I mean, his chin is really amazing, to be honest. Like, I can't believe he didn't get knocked out, but Francis Marshall's put it on him. Any thoughts on this guy, Marcel? Because, man, he's good.
He looks so good, man. This was like the only non-finish of the card, but it was spectacular. And I think also Connor Matthews, super tough guy, you know, kept going. But Marshall was just better. You know, he was better and he looked really good. I really like it as well. A decision win, but a good decision win, you know, a decision win where you were like, this was a good fight, you know, and also a deserved signing, you know. I mean, can't say anything else.
Yeah, he looked great. Benicio Salvador knocks out Shannon Ross. This is probably the fight of the night, I would guess. I mean, or the next one too. But this fight was absurd. It was such a good fight. Shannon Ross, very, very tough guy. Apparently, he's been given a UFC contract. That's what I read the other day. So they gave him a contract. Apparently, he went to the hospital the day after the fight and got really sick or something. I don't know what happened, Marcel. Do you know exactly what happened?
Yeah, he had to. I don't know how to say it.
Appendicitis or something? Yeah. So I don't know if that had something to do with the fight or what, but I mean, he got destroyed. There's no doubt about it. But I mean, he's still a tough dude. But yeah, Benicio Salvador looks special, Marcel. I mean, I can't wait to see him fight. The power this guy has, holy shit. He's going to be good addition to the roster. Both guys will. I mean, flyweight needs fights, so.
Yeah.
And then the last fight, just comeback of the year, except for Matt Schnell last week or a couple weeks ago. But as far as contenders here, I mean, this is the best comeback I've probably ever seen. Chris Duncan's getting absolutely destroyed here by Charlie Campbell, and then all of a sudden gets a crazy punch on it, 1-2 punch, landed the jab with the right hand behind it, knocks him down, brutal ground and pound, huge, like, just finish, like, big upset considering he was getting destroyed before that. I mean, I'll be honest with you, Marcel, I don't think he's going to go far in the UFC, but he definitely deserved the contract based on this performance.
Yeah, I think, to be really honest, and no disrespect to Chris Duncan, I feel like Charlie Campbell might be the better fighter. You know what I mean? And he got caught. But deserved contract for Duncan. You know, if you come back like this, you cannot give him not a contract. You know what I mean? And for Campbell, I think he will get in the UFC eventually. You know, I saw a comment from a media guy who was like talking shit to the management of Charlie Campbell. I was like, dude, I don't want to. Guy from MMA Island, the owner, I think. I don't know. He was like, this manager sucks. He's only trying to get this fighters in the UFC via the Dana White Contender Series.
Wait, who's the manager?
Oren Hodak, Kokeo Reps.
Knockout Reps. That's the Kevin Holland guy. Yeah.
So he's like, he sucks, and they should do better with Charlie Campbell. And people were like, dude, Charlie Campbell is like a young fighter who is still
He still might make it to the UFC. I think he can get one more. They'll bring him back, I think. They're going to bring him back. Yeah.
Why would you, as a media member, going after a manager is so stupid? You know what I mean? Shouldn't do that. Be professional.
Do you think they'll bring back like all the losers on this card, or some of them at least?
I don't think they bring back Danilo Suzard, to be really honest. Smotritsky got also a second chance already, so I don't think they bring him back. Maybe they give Conor Matthews a new fight, you know. Shannon Ross got signed, and Charlie Campbell, maybe, or maybe short notice. I think Charlie Campbell is on the short notice call list, to be honest, man. Yeah. Do this training with Aljo, with Ally Quinta, with that Sarah Longo camp. So he's like already with one foot in, I think, you know, and he showed a good fight, but he just got caught, you know. So I think he will get a call up when they need somebody.
Yeah, it's a good question. It's still the most successful Dana-White Contender Series alum, whereas the GOAT Sugar Sean. Both those guys are up there. Kevin Holland is up there. Alex Perez actually fought for the UFC title, so he's up there as well. Tyler Santos, I think, is up there. She could easily be the champion right now. Marina Rodriguez is one of the better ones as well. There's a lot, guys. Like, there's been some amazing fighters that come through Contender. Anyways, Marcel, like, overall, just a fantastic week of fights, I think. Between the UFC and Contender Series, you had, 15 fights and 14 finishes. Pretty crazy. What do you guys think is next for Vicente ever getting finished for the first time? Great question as well. I mean, I would imagine he still wants a ranked opponent, but, you know, maybe I don't know, maybe Li Jingliang, that would be a good fight, I think, but he probably gets knocked out now by that fight, right? Like, hard to favor him. Someone else mentioned Rakhmonov. I mean, they do train together, but maybe they could do that fight. I don't know. I mean, he's still got good wins and like against top 10 guys like Chiesa and stuff. So like, he's not going to be like too far out of it. But I don't know. I mean, he's got the win over a couple guys actually, Marcel, with Luque. He's got a lot of big wins. But I don't know. I mean, he just doesn't look good in the last couple fights, guys. Like I do think that it's on a decline. Ian Gary versus Battle. I mean, that'd be a good fight. I think it makes sense. Ian Gary hasn't been that impressive, guys. I mean, he's looked like he's been clean and technical, but he hasn't been like destroying people. Like that head kick. I gotta be honest with you, so I think when you knock it out with a head kick like that, it's almost like worth like 3 just decision wins. You know what I mean? Like in as far as your perception goes in your career. Yeah, Bo Nickel. We'll talk about him in the next card as well. The next show here. Anyway, he keep giving that speech. Apparently, it was. All right, I think that's it for this this podcast. We're going to end it here, guys, and we're going to start the next one up. We're going to be doing Contender Series preview and UFC San Diego preview. So there's a lot to talk about in the next card. I just want to finish this one up right now, and I'll get to your question, Antoine. You talked about Bo Nickel. We'll talk about him in the next podcast. So Marcel, quickly plug yourself. Let's get out of here. We're going to start the next podcast up in a few minutes here, guys.
It's still Big Marcel 24 on Twitter and Instagram, and for my articles, you have to go to Eurosport.nl mixed martial arts section. If you can read Dutch.
Adam Martin for Twitter. Always, you guys can follow me on there. Talk to you fights anytime you want. Love talking about fights with everyone. YouTube.com/MMAOB Group. We've got our podcast there, as you guys know, because you're here. Like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends about it, guys. Appreciate everyone's input today. We always like having some guests and fans in the chat, so it's awesome. Bookies.com for my best bets. MiamiNews.com for news, and MMAOB.com for all the latest MMA betting, because you're going to have a lot of opening odds come out today and tomorrow as well there. So we're going to start the next podcast up here, guys. So stay tuned to the channel. We're going to be breaking down UFC San Diego. And just the last question, what would the betting line be for Battle and Gary? I think Gary would be favored just because of the name and everything, but Battle has a good chance to win that fight. All right, guys, we'll see you in a few minutes. Peace.